Retirement, like traditionally, what was associated with that as I was coming into the field, which was about 25 years ago. Typically, it was just you're done. On this day, you're retired. Cold turkey, done. And early in my career, I similarly had, a couple clients that really helped change my view on what successful retirement could and might look like for folks. And one of those was someone who was she had a phased plan of how she was going to take her foot off the gas and kind of scale her business and into retirement. And now there's so many different ways that people are approaching retirement, which I think is also really exciting. We've talked about recently on this show, portfolio careers and, kind of reinvention. And I know this is also something that ties in very nicely with things that you address in your book as it relates to the emotional journey of retirement. So what can you tell us about that without giving the entire book away?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're wonderful observations and work that you've been doing, and I entirely agree. I think, my starting point around the emotional journey of retirement is a bit like you were saying. It's retirement has moved on, or this transition, this second half of life, third act, whatever we want to call it. People that are 50 plus, 55 plus, for instance, are retiring or entering into this phase of life like no other person has ever entered into this phase of life in our history. Their parents done it differently, their grandparents done it differently. Retirement is a modern thing, right? It's an invention that we invented as humans, and a lot of financial planning is still based on kind of an industrial age retirement. You get to 65, you hit a number, you retire, and you're thankful for what you've got. And quite simply, over a very quick period, I think over the last 20 or 30 years, retirement now has moved on significantly, or this phase of life for everybody. And if we couple that with the fact that you go back to, the generation before us, their money situation was very different. They had defined benefit or final salary pension, so they had more guaranteed income. They didn't have to worry about their money as much as what a modern retiree has to worry about it.
Right.
So the emotional aspect of worrying about our money actually has caused, over the last 20 years, the data is telling us that there is a really chronic underspending problem with people with a hard won pot of money. Either they've worked hard to save their money and they really struggle in spending it because they don't want to. They don't know how they're going to live for. They don't know what returns are going to be. They don't know what inflation is. We've added all of this uncertainty into their life, and so their emotional journey is now so much more than it was before. So when you think of it, like that, it wasn't that long ago that people were forced to retire, right? There was kind of, mandatory retirement. You hit 65, you were done, right? You met at the door with your pass and your box, or you were told to, leave the factory and off you go.